We are a few days out from MLB 23, which means we have to say goodbye to MLB The Show 22. To send it off the right way, we're going to build a team of my favorite players and choose one of my favorite players from each position and build the final team of MLB 22. So starting off at catcher, there were a lot of great primary catchers here in the game. Jorge Posada, for example, was such a fun card. Without a doubt, was his best card he had ever gotten. He could even play second base, like Adley Rutschman, and even Jason Kendall here, I parallel 5 that a lot of people didn't even use too much of. I think there's one catcher that comes to mind, and it is the 96 cover athlete Joe Mauer. This card was so good for that first half of the year, give or take. This card was probably the first catcher that most people would think of in MLB 22. Now we have first base, and it's a really stacked position, and I did try a bunch of cards here. Like 99 Albert Pujols is a great card, and especially with his last year seemingly being in MLB The Show for at least a couple years, I think he would be a good pick. Also, 99 Frank Thomas was so good for the first half of the year. Frank is always one of the better hitting cards in the game all year. And even like 99 David Ortiz is one of the first 99s we got this year, and he replaced Frank Thomas for me and was actually even better. It's a tough pick here at first base, but I'm actually going to go for Jimmy Fox. Even though he came out in the very end game part of the game, and there has never been a Jimmy Fox I've done as well with as this one. Second base is tough because there's 99 Robbie Cano, a card with one of the smoothest swings in the game. And then Chase Utley was also a new legend. And even Justin Foscue was a nice second baseman for that middle point of the year a lot of people played. But I think my favorite second baseman is 95 Gleyber Torres. I one of one parallel 5'd him this year. He had over 100 power versus both sides, 100 contact. Very fun card. So you know what? I'm going to put my bias in there and put him at second base. Now we have shortstop, and there's so many good shortstops. Like 99 Trevor Story came out later in the year, and he was great. Trey Turner's cards are always good, and his postseason card was definitely no slouch. But there's one shortstop that I think was without a doubt one of the best cards we've ever had in MLB The Show. It's 99 Jimmy Rollins. This card was incredible, man. He might have been my best cards in the entire game. So J-Roll is over at shortstop. Now for third base, this one is an interesting one because we had guys like Miguel Cabrera's 99 with maxed out contact and power. George Brett, who was most people's third baseman for a while this year. And I actually really liked Austin Riley as a third base option alongside with Josh Donaldson. One stands out as like a cult favorite for me, and it's 93 Eduardo Escobar. When most people were using that 92 overall Ketel Marte a lot of the year, for me, my favorite was Eduardo Escobar because he had more power than Ketel. And I liked using him better because most people were using Ketel. Escobar has to be at third for me. Now we go to left field, and the thing with left fielders is they usually sucked at fielding this year. But we had guys like Albert Pujols, and then 99 Stanton, I got lucky and pulled him during the All-Star break stuff, and this card treated me very well despite his really bad defense. But I'm actually going to choose 93 David Justice. The beginning part of the year, this card was so underrated and slept on. I hit over 400 with him with over 300 at bats. This card is sick. He's going to be my personal pick. And then right field, we had a little bit better defense here, and I think there were some better primary right fielders this year. Like Roberto Clemente, this card was great for the first half of the year, especially while he had like the go-to contact and power mix. But Clemente was a really good NL collection, I think. And then Babe Ruth. He had his Takashi card. This card was actually really fun for a few months in the year. And I loved my 95 Nick Castellanos. Great versus lefties. Whenever you faced Randy, having Castellanos in that lineup was huge. Obviously, his defense again sucked though. But my pick is 99 Hank Aaron. Definitely the best of the Legend of the Franchise program. I thought he was going to get a retro finest, and then they kind of just stopped uploading content on this game. But doesn't matter because Hank Aaron was still really good and one of my favorite cards in the year. So we'll throw him out in right. And in terms of center field, there are just too many great names this year. 99 Griffey. Wait, whoa. Not this Griffey again. How many times have I gotten away with that joke this year? Mickey Mantle, who is arguably the best card ever with maxed out contact and power. Also, the fielding and speed was just all incredible on this card. 99 Andrew McCutchen. He just became so popular with how good this card was. And then, of course, the good 99 Griffey with the maxed out contact versus righties, maxed out power versus both sides. And then you can't have a center fielder bunch without Mike Trout. Just, this is the best card he's ever gotten, especially since he gets the live series quirks too. But if there's one center fielder that comes to mind for me, milestone Aaron Judge. Obviously I have my Yankee bias with this pick, but this card I had been using on my team for basically the rest of the year and really like his cards. He's my center fielder. I don't care what anyone says. And then on the bench, we'll put together some other players that were big for this game, like 99 Griffey, Murray, 99 McCutchen, 99 George Brett, 99 Albert Pujols, and then we'll put finest Julio Rodriguez out there. In terms of the bullpen, we'll start off with 99-year-old Chapman being a Extreme Award this year, and he definitely lived up to the hype. Riley Fingers was a very viable reliever during that busy point of the year right around the All-Star break. Dennis Eckersley was one of my best cards of the year. He has a .93 ERA in 9 innings. Obviously, I don't use relievers much, but this Eckersley was gross. Edwin Diaz had a great pitching year, and I think his finest should be added to the team for sure. Yohan Duran's Tops Now card was definitely a big card this year that people using their bullpen for months. Zach Britton was one of my favorite lefties in the year. Normally I suck with him, but this one I was actually really good with. Devin Williams was another pitcher I parallel forward. This is a day one card too, and people used him for months. And then my closer, of course, has to be Mariano Rivera, the greatest reliever of all time. No doubt about that one. The rotation is tough, but the first pitcher that comes to mind is Dallas Keuchel. Early game stud with the sinker, cutter, slider mix. His changeup was gross with how slow it was. Roy Halladay entered MLB The Show. You remember that Halladay and Friends program? I thought that was a really exciting content drop, and I think they nailed it. I sucked with this card. I have like a 5 ERA with them, but this is a very fun content drop, and I'm glad that they did it. And then one of my personal favorite names to get a diamond this year, Nestor. Of course, it was in the very end game part of the year. Love my boy Nestor. And of course, you can't have MLB 22 without 99 Randy Johnson, the most dominant pitcher of the year. I think the Mariners one was better for me, but also just in general was so dominant for the first 3 quarters at least of the year, however long it was. It almost felt like he had to get this card with how dominant he was on the mound. So I think Randy was a great collection award this year, and this one especially was really a defining card for MLB 22. And finally, the last card of the all MLB 22 team has to be 99 Ohtani. The cover athlete himself got the best looking card art of the year and arguably the best card in Diamond Dynasty history. Pitching side of things, he got the outlier 4-seam, and of course he can hit. The dude's got 125 power versus righties. It's too bad he wasn't really playable as a two-way player, but the card is incredible nonetheless. He has to be included in the rotation, even though I sucked with him. But that is the all MLB 22 team. All of my favorite players and notable cards for MLB 22. And I look back, and there was a lot of good times had in this game. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of MLB 22? What are your final thoughts now that it's over? And I just want to thank you all for watching the MLB The Show content this last year. The channel's gone through a crazy ride from doing tips and tier lists and all of that. Now over here on this channel, we're going to be doing all gameplay for the next year of MLB 23. Make sure you are subbed here to see some more team builds like this and then more gameplay content. And if you want to see more tips, I'll be uploading all of my tips videos as per usual on my Scann Plays channel. So if you want to see the tier list and tips and all the things Diamond Dynasty, make sure you go sub over there. It's been a fun year of MLB 22. I'm excited for 23, and I'll see you all again on the next video on MLB 23.